Hello, my name is Christian Da Silva, and I am presenting Inappropriate Relationships Between Law Enforcement Officers and Suspects. The formation of inappropriate relations between law enforcement officers and suspects seriously threatens the integrity of the criminal justice system. These ties may take many forms, be they romantic, financial, or derived from power, but they will ultimately lead to a compromised investigation, biased decision-making, and the erosion of public confidence in the integrity of those institutions law enforcement serves. Historical overview. The origin of police misconduct dates back to the beginning of policing itself. The slave patrols established in the 1700s and militia-style groups created after the Civil War were the blueprints for these organizations that wielded authority to create boundaries and enforce racist hierarchies. By intimidation and brute force if necessary, these early practices established a precedent for the misuse of authority in its interpersonal interactions and established a foundation for subsequent inappropriate relationships in law enforcement. Case study: San Diego police officer Anthony Aravalos. Sweeping allegations of sexual misconduct in high-profile cases echo far beyond the individual and get at the much broader public perception and policies. One case involves Anthony Aravalos, a former San Diego police officer accused of committing in-field sexual assaults against female drivers. When such cases become public, it not only shines the light on individual wrongdoings, but also reflects on deep-rooted flaws in the system of police oversight and accountability. Such incidents often receive extensive media coverage and public scrutiny. However, they could also result in significant reforms and policy changes, undermining public trust and confidence in law enforcement agencies. Such cases serve as touchstones for society and institutions, allowing them to discuss what changes need to be made to avoid future criminal behavior. Legal ramifications. Sexual misconduct in law enforcement has substantial, far-reaching legal and organizational consequences. Statutes, which are legal texts that criminalize conduct, and the legal framework that accompanies them to aim to impose punishment and deter these behaviors. However, enforcement is frequently uneven, leaving opportunities for chronic misconduct to take hold. Sexual abuse within police departments is often seen as an isolated behavior rather than an indicator of deeper, pervasive cultural problems within departments. It is this sort of treatment that breeds a culture of silence, whereby the victim is not believed and the perpetrator gets off with no punishment or repercussions. And some things need to change when it comes to accountability and change within the organizations. Role of public perception and media. This is underscored by police sexual misconduct, which is only one of the areas that got public attention from mainstream media. This leads to public disbelief against police agencies due to visible media scrutiny and readily available samples of incidents. Media narratives can help bring attention to the frequency and severity of these issues, which may spur public demands for transparency and accountability. Nonetheless, media must report on these cases responsibly so that we can have informed public discourse and not just pour gasoline on the fire. Transparency in addressing these allegations will be imperative for restoring trust and facilitating community dialogue. Policy recommendations and reforms. The fight against sexual misconduct across the ranks of law enforcement will require more robust policy change and holistic approach. Among those recommendations are the development of clear, strict standards prohibiting relationships between officers and people in police investigations or under their jurisdiction. Incorporating mandatory ethics training on professional conduct, consent, and power dynamics can seek to mitigate these systems having to fix it for you issues. In addition, the deployment of other surveillance technologies like body-worn cameras are potential tools to limit misconduct and promote transparency in police work. Placing an emphasis on ethics and accountability within departments is essential to creating a professional culture that deters sexual misconduct and upholds the public trust. Comprehensive reforms. Effective reforms requires a multi-layered approach, starting with a strong foundation of policy changes and building up to active community involvement. This comprehensive strategy aims to address the root causes of misconduct and foster a culture of integrity within law enforcement. Restoring trust and integrity. The issue of sexual misconduct in law enforcement represents a significant threat to the principles of justice and public trust. Understanding its historical context and addressing contemporary challenges through targeted reforms can mitigate such conduct. By implementing strong policies, enhancing ethics training, and fostering open community engagement, law enforcement can work towards restoring public confidence and ensuring the ethical standards of their institutions. This comprehensive approach is crucial for maintaining the justice and fairness that the public rightly expects from those tasked with upholding the law in their communities.